And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
HABA likes to take names and make them literal in the game. So this game here, Nosy Bear or Nosy Bear, is about bears' noses. And the main character of the game, hello, Mr. Nosy Bear. Basically, it's a simple game. Players roll a die and make a choice on how they roll a die, and then they make there comes a point in the game where they actually make a choice that matters. There's a bit of an advanced game that makes it a little bit more involved, but it's kind of a fun little game, especially for younger children, and the idea of putting bears and noses together is pretty funny. But to see what we're talking about, let's look at the game itself. Here's how the game starts. You take different noses, different spots, and you place them around the table, and then you put the Nosy Bear tile on one of the noses. Now, there are many different bears involved in the game, and you can tell the Nosy Bear apart from the rest of them because he is multicolored, while the rest of these bears have basically one color background. You then take these tiles and you give 6 to each player. So a player will have in front of them bears of different styles. Now, you don't show the other players what you have, but you can put them in front of yourself. Now, on your turn, the player rolls a die. And that die shows on it, instead of pips, it shows little paw prints, which I thought was a neat little touch. But it's 1, 2, or 3. Once you roll the die, you then decide to move Mr. Nosy Bear here. I just rolled a 1, so I can move him 1 space in either direction. Looking at my cards, I would move him to the yellow. If you then have a matching bear of that color, you can put him out in the nose, like thus. Because the goal of your game is to get rid of all the cards in your hand. On a future turn, if someone else has them go to the yellow and they also have a yellow card, they put that card there. And if they move them to the pink card, they'll put someone on the pink nose and someone on the blue nose. And you can see as the game progresses, you'll have the different bears on the different noses, which adds a lot to the game, at least visually. And you'll have all the bears in a circle here. Now, if you move him so that he lands on the spot where the Nosy Bear tile is, you cannot place a color of that type. So if I have a green in my hand, I can't do so. Instead, I take the Nosy Bear off, and I can move him to any of the tiles of my choice, effectively blocking people from using that color in the future. So, if I want to put one on pink, I'm going to have to land there, move the nosy tile to another one, and then land there again in the future, so it can be used to slow another player down. Now, in the quote-unquote advanced version of the game, each player starts with a honey token, and this token allows you to place one of your tiles down wherever the bear is. So, for example, let's say Nosy Bear is here. So on my turn, or even when it's not my turn, I put my honey token tile next to that one, and I simply place a blue one on it, even though it's not my turn. So that lets you put one out no matter where the bear is. When the bear lands somewhere where there is a Nosy Bear tile, you can take either tile, move it like before, or you can take all the honey tokens that are there. That really doesn't change the strategy of the game much, but it gives the players a lot more choices that they can use. And in fact, if the kids are 8 or older, that's the only way that I would play with. So the first player to get rid of all the cards from their hand and get them out on the board somehow is the winner. First of all, let's talk about the high quality of the components of the game. The tiles are very thick. The pictures on them are really nice looking. And the noses themselves are basically half a sphere, and again, good quality. And putting the bear and the nose together just has a cute look to it. Kids are going to get a real kick out of that on the table. Moving this bear around, nice chunky piece. So high quality components. And as I mentioned before, using paws as the pips on the die was a neat touch. The way the game plays is very simple. You roll a die, you obviously are going to move towards a color that you have if possible. If you don't have the color, you can try to move basically where your opponent doesn't have the color if you're trying to figure out what colors they have. The same thing comes with the Nosy Bear. A player, when he puts it out, he's going to put it out in the color that he doesn't have if possible, and he'll place it on a color that he thinks his opponent might have that they might want to go to badly, stopping them. So there's a little bit of a take that factor in it. And for kids, it's kind of a not in your face. It's like, oh, the Nosy Bear is where I want to go again. Adding the honey tokens in adds a little bit more strategy. Taking those tokens allows you to win the game when the bear is at a spot where you need to put down the tokens. So it makes the game a little bit faster, but also gives players a few more choices. I think that it's a very good game for young children, and for older children will have some enjoyment of it, although it might lose its luster a little bit more quickly. What do you think?
I think it's cool because the pieces are nicely designed and the bears are kind of cute. I think the girls are cuter, but the color makes you think of the noses, and the noses perfectly match the background color.
All right, do you like playing the game?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, for me, this is a good game. I tend to like most HABA games, and this one is no exception. But this is one that I think I'd play more often than most, especially with younger children. So if you have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, this is one I think they would really enjoy. Nosy Bear.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.